I'm here. I forgot to add myself to the thing. Hello, I'm by myself right now. No, I'm not, because Lou's here.
What did I do?
I just went live, and I was gonna do the intro, and I was saying, I'm by myself right now, and then I'll as if summoned.
Sorry, man. I had to get a bunch of stuff.
Hey, you're good.
For
I
myself.
just wanted to get started so I could get everything going. And if you were a few minutes late, I don't care. I was just gonna get the intro going, but glad to see you here.
Let me get a change of shirt because I just noticed this one has a stain. I'll be right back.
Go for it. Go for it. All right. So while Lou goes and takes care of himself, and then we're gonna come back in just a minute. Welcome to the show tonight. I'm hosting a Friday night show. I think I was on Friday night with Jess a couple weeks ago, and we attempted to have a topic and then just kind of talked about whatever. So we'll see how close to an actual topic we stay tonight. And I made it kind of vague, so whatever. Tonight we wanted to talk about some of our favorite things of 2025 so far. And I know that he just saw 28 years later yesterday and is excited to talk about that. And I am going to turn on the comments so y'all's comments can show up on the stream like we do with Geo. And let me find my banners so that I can do our sponsor of the show, In Stock Trades. So big thanks to IST for always sponsoring the show for the past several years. Just doing the IST plug so then we can get right on into it. Big thanks to InStockTrades.com for sponsoring the show for many years now, helping to keep this stuff rolling. You can buy all your comics, manga, etc. at great discounts at InStockTrades.com. Free shipping within the U.S. after order of $50 or more, and great packaging, great customer service. They do international shipping as well, and not this coming Monday, but I think the following Monday, they're going to be doing the gift card giveaway. So tune in for that for a chance to win a $50 gift card to InStockTrades.com. And with that, here we are. Let's start the show. So, I know you had to take some time off. How's everything with that? Are you emotionally and stuff? How are you?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I could talk a little bit more about it now. Is that my stepfather had passed away. It was rather sudden, and we were dealing with it. We had so death is kind of a weird thing because I've experienced a lot of death in my life. I've just been around it, friends, family, and the whole saying is, as you get older, the more things get taken from you, the more you start to lose things. It happens. So I was getting ready for work Monday morning. I'm going to make this really quick. And my brother calls me and he says, "Hey, our stepfather looks like he's going to pass." And I was like, well, shit. We kind of saw it coming for a while, but at the same time, it was sudden. And on my way to work, my brother calls me and he's like, "Yeah, our stepfather, John, he ended up passing away, unfortunately." And it was tough. It was more so watching my mom deal with it because they were married for 13 years and they were married for a long time and they were really close and they loved each other very much, but it surprised me at just how fast the whole thing happened.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, just the whole process in general, where he passed on Monday. On Tuesday we were at the funeral home and they were already starting the cremation process. By Wednesday my mom was already taking out a bunch of his clothes and stuff like that. And it was honestly, the whole thing was just like that. It was way too quick. How it blew my socks off, honestly. And again, I wasn't super close with the guy, but it's watching my mom go through the whole thing that really hit us as a family. My mom came down and spent a few days with us. It's kind of why I've been really absent lately. It's also why there hasn't been a Patreon show last month, because there's just been a whole bunch of different stuff that's just been coming at us left and right and dealing with a bunch of garbage that keeps getting thrown at us, but that's part of life. So it was that. The one solace out of it is, I've got to take this week off of work. Switch 2 comes out this week.
Gosh.
Okay, well, I guess I'll try to get one.
Yeah.
And I ended up lucking out and getting one at GameStop. Surprisingly, really not that hard to get one if you really tried those first few days.
That's what I've been hearing, is that it's still somewhat easy to like, maybe not easy, but like you said, not hard to
Mhm.
find something. It's not like PS5 launch level hard.
Yeah. So my family stayed with my mom. It was
Mhm.
just a few hours, and I went a few hours to GameStop on that Wednesday. And the not Salvation Army,
Goodwill.
thank you. The Goodwill was literally right across the street. So I was like, well, hey,
Yeah.
do you mind if I do this? The Goodwill's right across the street. I'm gonna drop the stuff off, then I'll make a line real quick, and I'll be back in like 2 hours. And they were fine with it. So I made the line at 3 o'clock. I got my ticket, went home, helped finish packing up stuff, helped finish getting stuff ready for my mom and getting through that process. And a bunch of us caught up together that night. We went
Mhm.
out drinking. We went out drinking.
Yeah.
Um, and we shared a bunch of stories about my stepfather, and then we picked up the Switch at midnight and then went home.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing well, and I hope that your mom's doing well as well.
Yeah.
And it's terrible how like quickly these things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if anything, it's always a great, moment for family to really get together and remind one another of, what it's all about.
Yeah. How about you, man? What's been going on with you? We haven't talked in a while. I've been.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Uh, Pretty standard on this side of things. We've just been enjoying life. The big thing that people got to hear about actually last night on the show with Geo. We went to a local manga convention,
Oh, cool.
and so we did a cosplay. Are you familiar with Gravity Falls?
My 13-year. Is that the one where they go to camp for
It's
the summer camp?
Yeah, well, it's the cartoon with the two twins, the kids that like
All right.
over the summer they stay with their great uncle, Grunkle Stan.
Okay. Yeah, my 13-year-old loves it. I've seen a few episodes with her. Yeah.
And it was great. Everything was great. I forgot, Kane, that you were without power last night, so you didn't see
Oh.
all the stuff with talking about that. But we dressed up as characters from that show, so it was Carly was the star of this. Like, she was the one that that put together a massive cosplay, her first cosplay, and everyone that I showed was like, oh my gosh, like that's so good, and people were just like over the moon about it at the convention too. So she really like felt great about it. But it's a single episode character that pops up that she dressed up as, called Giffany. And so one of the secondary characters of the show,
Mm-hmm.
Seuss is his name, short for Jesus. He's an employee at this mystery shack that Grunkle Stan runs, and he's kind of a dumpy guy, like doesn't really have a ton of friends outside of like the kids and the employees and stuff. And so like he goes to get he gets a dating simulator game, but it's like a cursed dating sim. And when he starts playing it, the main character is like, what does she say? My name is Giffany.
I'm a schoolgirl at school university.
I'm a schoolgirl at school university. And she's like this very typical Japanese styled character that has like bright pink hair and the sailor uniform. And,
Why can I picture this automatically in my head when you said it?
And it's like the graphics are kind of pixely and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so what she did was made out of perler beads, this giant bow that, are you gonna get it down? I'll have to balance it on there again. It shouldn't be too hard. So this giant bow out of perler beads,
Mm-hmm.
to make
wow,
to look like
that's cool.
like computer graphics, like it's a 16-bit thing, and
That's
then
cool.
had this on top, and then the sailor uniform, which was just like something off of Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And then she made another bow for the chest, and then she put rhinestones on some shoes,
Nice.
and she carved up a wig to look close-ish to the one, because it's really hard to like make a an actual wig look like hair from a cartoon.
Mhm.
She did a really good job, and we went to the con, and I was Seuss, and Seuss is basically just a t-shirt and a hat, and that was effort into this costume, and I'm just walking around with the hat. But people loved it. Like, there was a ton of people where, like, if you dress up as a character that everyone knows, like if someone goes to a con dressed as like Luffy, everyone's like, hey, Luffy, like people
Yeah.
are, cool. But if you dress up as a niche character from a show that people love, people get so excited because they're like, oh my God, you dressed up as Giffany? That's crazy. I love that episode. So people were just over the moon, and like they didn't even notice that I was supposed to be Seuss because it's just a t-shirt and a hat, and like my badge was hanging over my chest. So like they couldn't even tell, but they loved it, and she had a great time. It was her first anime con. She's been to like a horror convention and a comic convention. So it was her first anime convention, and she had a great time. And we spent a lot of money on random merch. I'm not going to go through all of it again tonight like I did last night, but just merch for like favorite characters and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's really the big thing that we've been up to. We haven't been watching as many movies as last year when we did our whole like every horror movie in theaters thing, and this time it's just like the highlights. And unfortunately, at least one low light of How to Train Your Dragon live action.
You don't like it? I've heard it's good.
It's like,
Could I just watch the animated movie? And it's
so yeah, like there's it's pointless. Like
Okay.
there's not even any. They I think leave out at least one scene from the first movie or from the animated version,
Mhm.
but there's nothing in there that really like makes it matter. Like there's nothing in this live action that they do better, and this is my opinion. So if someone disagrees, like you're fine to disagree. I don't care. That's fine.
That's
But
okay.
my opinion is there's nothing that the live action does in any way better or even as good as the animated version. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't take, because they're based off of little kids books.
Yeah.
And the animated one is pretty loosely based on them. So there's no real reason to or there was a lot of material that they could have brought in. They could have added stuff from those books and kind of expanded a little bit or just done something a little bit different. And they didn't. And so it's not, it's passable. I think I gave it like a 5 or 6 out of 10, like if I had to. Like it's a passable movie, but it's just like, watch the animated version instead.
Yeah.
Whether you've already seen it or not, it's the better version of it.
I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with a lot of these Disney remakes, right? That a lot of people are complaining about. It's like, I could just watch the animated movie and I'll be just fine. I happen to like quite a few of some of those animated movies to live action. I like Maleficent. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought the Lion King remake was solid. I haven't seen the second one. I actually really liked the Aladdin remake. I thought that was okay. Will Smith as Genie. You're not going to top Robin Williams. You're just not.
Right.
But I thought he did all right. So, they're batting about 50-50 with these for me. We tried watching Cinderella the other night. We couldn't get halfway through it. We're like, this is not that good. So we stopped watching that. But yeah, man, that's cool. So I wanted to talk real quick about 28 Years Later. And I know you haven't seen it yet. I'm really curious to hear what you think about it. I'm going to preface this with saying that this movie hit me a little bit harder than I think it normally would have, because the whole thing that this movie is dealing with is death, life and death, and what that means, and confronting death and confronting life and becoming going through the stages of it and different forms of death and the way people deal with it and grieve. And it hit me a little bit harder because my stepfather passed away 2 weeks ago. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is really fresh on my mind. So with that said, I really enjoyed the hell out of this. I think for me, it is my favorite of the three, but I need to rewatch this to confirm it again. It is not what I think a lot of people were expecting. I think a lot of people were going to go in and think that they were probably going to see Dawn of the Dead or, Walking Dead or, and I'm talking about the Dawn of the Dead remake, not the original. Look, man, there's plenty of garbage zombie shows out there. You can watch Walking Dead, all 28 seasons or however long that show went, and this trash spin-offs that they put out and stuff like that, and you can probably enjoy that. This is a little different. They really weren't. The focus on this really wasn't necessarily on the infected thing. It was more on people and dealing with going through the stages of grief, of death, and what that means and how different people grieve through it. And it's also a story of coming of age and accepting that. With that said, the last probably 3 minutes of this movie, I could see a lot of people just going, what the fuck was that?
I've specifically seen people say, like you just said, like the last few minutes were the biggest, like, I don't remember exactly what people said online, but I've seen people on Twitter discussing like specifically the last few minutes of it.
Yeah, there's especially here in America. So without giving anything away, it references a very, very popular British TV children's star. And I can't get into too much, but I think that's going to go over a lot of people's heads because he specifically that children's TV host is specifically just in that part of the world. And here in the United States, a lot of people are going to go, what is, and it honestly, the ending does come out of nowhere. It ends and I went, that's the ending. But I think a lot of people also need to remember the original 28 Days Later, that movie gets really fucking weird, especially in the last 30 minutes. The horse thing, and it gets really psychedelic and really weird. So it's not unheard. Just go in with an open mind. That's all I'm going to say. I thought it was beautiful. I loved it, other than the last literally 3 minutes. If you cut 3 minutes out of this movie, I would go, God damn, yeah, this was great. I loved it.
Like perfect 10 and 10, absolute cinema.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's gonna be in my top 10. It is gonna be in my top 10. It's my favorite of the three, and I'm really looking forward to revisiting it. Ralph Fiennes in this steals the whole damn movie. He's in probably the last 30 to 40 minutes, and he steals the whole fucking thing. He is so goddamn good in this.
I've seen people saying that too. That's
my
other things people
God,
have said.
dude, he is so fucking great in this. He steals almost the whole thing. And you kind of expect him to be this stereotypical brouhaha crazy person with like a bunch of guys, going crazy out by himself. No. It's a very different portrayal than what you're expecting. I dug it. I dug the whole concept of the virus evolving and what that means. And man. If you're a fan of the first one, you'll probably like this one.
Yeah.
Well,
we're gonna try to, because I feel like it's been 28 years since I've seen any of the movies. So, shitty joke aside, we're gonna try to watch the first two this weekend and then go out. I don't know if I'll have time to fit it in because Sunday, every other Sunday, I have like a guys' night with a group of friends, and I don't think all of them are like up to like they're not caught up with those movies. So like we do go out to see movies, but we don't I'm not going to be like, let's go see 28 Years Later, and then like one of them has only seen one of them, and one of them's never seen any of them, and
Yeah.
so that wouldn't be really fair. But I do want to get out and see it soon. I enjoy more Danny Boyle movies than I don't. So
Same.
there's that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just conceptually, it's a cool idea.
I'm gonna say that. So one more thing before we kind of keep going. I don't want to dwell on this too much because it's a fresh movie. You haven't seen it, and I'm
Sure.
pretty sure a lot of people in the chat probably haven't seen it.
Yeah.
28 Days Later specifically has this real, just visceral feeling in me because I remember the day the pandemic shut everything down.
Right.
And I lived in Orlando, which is a huge tourist trap. It's a major metropolitan city. I lived very close at the time near a huge strip of road that everybody used to get into and from work. I lived by the airport. And I remember waking up that morning, going for a run, and standing literally in the middle of that street and going, where the fuck is everybody? And this is so fucking creepy and eerie. And just sitting down literally in the middle of the road going, there is nobody here.
Yeah.
What happened? And it freaked me out and immediately reminded me of that opening scene. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Run through the chat real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug says that he still thinks the first one is the scariest one.
Okay, cool.
And happy Friday indeed from Kane. Joey Chestnut Chicken Strip Kane's Contest, probably my favorite film of the year.
Okay, real quick, because we haven't talked in a while. I had Raising Cane's.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay, you have gone on record as saying it's not that great. I am seconding that.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
agree with you.
I
agree with you.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna be on the same page.
Yes.
But so it's all in the sauce, right?
Yes. 100%. Yes. The chicken. Okay, so the chicken is very soft. It's very tender. I like that.
Yeah.
There's no fucking taste of the chicken.
Exactly. That's what I said. I told you, like, whenever we're talking about it, I said like they don't season the chicken.
No.
It's minimal. It's like maybe salt and pepper, maybe some garlic or something, but like not really seasoned. And I know that that's it. I'm gonna, the devil's advocate here. It's by design because it's literally meant to carry the sauce.
Right.
But like, I don't know, man. Like it's sometimes it hits. Like sometimes I just want some fried chicken and there's a Raising Cane's nearby, so it's easy to just like get that and go. But if I want good chicken, that's not going to be the place that I go to.
No, not at all. Not at all. People have hyped this place up around me like, oh no, you got to try Raising Cane's. You got to try Raising Cane's. I'm like, okay. So I went there for lunch one day, probably like a month or two ago. I'm like, all right, man, this is my first time here. Do you have anything with like spicy stuff? And they're like, nope, just the chicken. I'm like, what? You don't have any different type of a sandwich? Anything else we could throw in there?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's just the chicken strips. I'm like, all right, cool. Give me like 5 or 6 of your chicken strips and I'll be fine. They're like, okay, well, what sauce you want? I'm like, give me the cane sauce. Give me the honey sauce, the honey mustard sauce. Yeah, give me that. We'll do that. I walked back, I ate it, and went, I didn't get anything out of that, really.
The
sauce is great. I made a dupe version of it at home.
Sauce is really good, and it's good with a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah.
But that's really where it is. And that's it. We don't even have to like have the conversation because everyone's had the conversation. And that's like, but here's the funny thing. And I don't think that this exists near you. There's another restaurant called Lane's. So Lane's and Cane's. And Lane's was the OG.
Okay.
And Cane's was like another guy started. I don't know the entire lore of everything, but like Lane's was first. Cane's was another guy that started it. And they were like right near each other, like in a college city, basically. Mm-hmm. And Cane's took off and franchised a lot bigger than Lane's did. But there's still Lane's locations. Like there's one not that far from us. And so Lane's has spicy chicken. Lane's has actual chicken sandwiches. Lane's has different dipping sauces and stuff. So like Lane's actually goes pretty far into what you might want out of Cane's, and Cane's is just like, we're keeping it simple, we're doing whatever. Like, I guess at least they have their identity set. Like, good on them for doing that. But like, I would never be a person to like die by the name of Cane's chicken strip. Like Raising Cane's is fine. If I want chicken, I will definitely go there ahead of like McDonald's.
Same.
But like, it's not going to be the stuff that I really am looking for. But
it'll work in a pinch. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it's right across the street from where I'm working. There's nothing else. It's cheap. Yeah, I'll drop $10 on a few chicken strips. Fine.
I'm gonna come back to this one in a minute because I feel like
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
you watched. Okay, so we can talk about that for sure. Don DeDon movie was fire. First episode of season 2. I saw the first movie when it was in theaters, and then I think the second one might already be out, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to catch the second one. But I mean, I'll watch the show when it comes out. But it was a really fun experience watching the first one in theaters. So I will say that. And yeah, not all the Disney animated films need live action remakes. But what I will say is that the majority of Disney animated films are not like original stories. You know, they're based on existing tales and whatnot. And with those, anytime they do an adaptation, every time they're like, oh, let's do a live action version, I just feel like they should just do more. Like they should pull out different stuff from the source, go in different directions, get creative with it, and not just be like, let's try to carbon copy. Because if you're just going to do a carbon copy, just re-release the animated film in theaters.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to do anything else. Williamson and Flash, Omni worth the blind buy. Haven't read any Flash besides a little Wade run. 90s art took me out of it. If I'm not mistaken, Howard Porter does a lot of the art in that. And Howard Porter, during the 90s, he was a 90s artist. So it's the best way to put that.
It's very much of its time.
So Williamson, I mean, Howard Porter, who I believe does the art, even though this is like the Rebirth run, his artwork is updated. But if you very much don't like 90s comic art, you might want to take a look at it, like take a glance. If it's the art that draws you out of something, like for me, I can survive through really like, I don't have any problem with most comic art and stuff, but like if there is something that I'm reading, and I'm going to use X-Men as an example, because Greg Land winds up doing the artwork for a lot of X-Men books. If the story is still good, even if the art is something that's not to my taste, I'm fine. Like I can get through it, and I'll just, on the other side, I'll complain about it. But as I'm reading it, I'm fine. I can. So I would definitely recommend. I mean, honestly, I would say that no Omni is worth a blind buy, because that's a lot of money to drop on something you don't know anything about. But at the very least, look through the internal artwork, because if you're the type of person that like is completely pulled out of something, depending on how you feel about the art, you definitely want to know what that art looks like before you get into it.
I second that opinion, especially look, man, in our heyday, when I was really collecting omnibuses and not digital and stuff like that, I spent a lot of money on dumb shit that I regret spending money on a lot of omnibuses that I'm like, oh, damn it, I really don't like reading this. Okay, let me see how much I could get back on this. And I try to flip it and try to make some money off of it. Most of the time I took a loss on it. Look, these days, my advice to anybody is before you drop money on this stuff is there are tons of ways that you can legally see and start reading these books these days. Because an omnibus is just a collection of a bunch of older stuff. There's tons of ways that you can read this before you literally drop cash on this. So maybe read a volume or two of a book and go, yeah, this works for me. Or, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I super recommend that. Like, When I was on TikTok, I would post a lot of comic stuff there, even though my YouTube was all like manga. And I would have a lot of people that asked me straight up, they were like, what omnibus would you recommend? Like, I've never bought an omnibus of anything before. And like, what do you recommend? And I was like, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
I recommend like buying these expensive collections when you have like a lot of evidence that it's going to be worthwhile for you. Like, if you've already read it and you like it, bingo. Like, and you want to own it in a bigger format, like if it's your preferred format, then solid. If it's creators that you enjoy, that's a solid evidence that it's gonna be worth the investment. But like,
Absolutely.
if it's just something that like kind of looks neat to you, or like, I like the character, but I'm not sure about this story or this writer or this artist or whatever, like, it deserves a little bit more thought before dropping the money, especially, you know, money gets tight these days.
Boy, you ain't kidding. And also, yeah, he brings something up. He brings up the fear of FOMOing. I think it's very easy to be caught up in that, especially in our very influencer. Especially if you're plugged into a lot of different social media platforms, different podcasts and stuff like that. Part of the reason why I've cut off almost everything social media wise, minus my Instagram, is that's part of I was getting too much data flow, too much stuff that was like being shoved in my face too much, and I was like, okay, I'm getting tired of all this, so I'm just cutting everything off at this point. Not only that, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in the world right now, and I was like, this isn't good for my mental health, so I'm cutting all this off, and I'm much happier, and I feel much better. Not only that, I feel like I can focus a lot more. Yeah, man, it's FOMO is always going to be there. You know, I think as collectors, we always have that mindset of like, ooh, that sounds really cool. Let me try to get through that, or let me try to read that, and let me try to enjoy it. And we kind of can forget about this stuff is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have fun while reading this. We're supposed to really enjoy and take in reading comics, playing video games, watching movies, and all this other stuff. And I think it can easily become, let me just get through this because it's really cool and I've heard it's really cool, and let me just get to the next best thing. We're always constantly chasing that high versus really taking something in and really enjoying it.
Yeah, I still every once in a while will give in to some FOMO, but I've mostly gotten away from that and like curbed. Obviously, I still buy a shit ton of books.
Yeah.
Grow a manga, and there's a whole giant shelf at the end of all my X-Men omnis and stuff. But you know, I've curbed the type of stuff that I purchase, and now there's only ever a few times where there's something that I'm like going in blind, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want that or not. And you have to, I like have the discussion with myself of like, how much would be upset. I think the only times recently where I've really given into FOMO were the Kickstarters for G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Oh God, they're beautiful.
But I felt okay because I was like, if the chance is that I get this and like I read through and I never want to see this stuff again, like these are limited and I could easily get back what I spent.
Fair.
So I, at the very least, I have an out where I'm not worried about taking a loss at the end. And that shouldn't be like the most important factor. But in this case, because the FOMO was really killing me, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'll pull the trigger and do it. And then if it worse comes to worse, if it's not for me, like I believe that this stuff will be, then I can definitely get my money back. But yeah, that's the most that I've had recently. And it's not as bad with manga as it is with comics, because even the most expensive manga are like $60 at the most for something, you know, big.
It's true.
And getting it online, it's like $40 or something. So I don't feel as bad about like dropping cash on something like that. Because it's not nearly as much as like $150 hardcover of comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think by its very nature, manga is certainly cheaper than Western comics, and I think you get more bang for your buck. I mean, you would know more than I would because you collect that stuff more than and you dabble in it way more than I do.
Yeah.
But as a parent now of 2 kids, what would I rather spend? Would I spend $2 and get the Shonen Jump app,
Mhm.
or would I spend $20, get a trade paperback or a hardcover, give it to my kid, and they read it in a day and it's pretty much done? Versus I'm using the Shonen Jump app as a great excuse. Versus the Shonen Jump app where it's literally you have all of One Piece that
Yeah.
you can read, and it gets updated every single week, and I don't have to worry about it. Or there is the Marvel Unlimited app and the DC
Yeah.
Universe app, but even then, that's a little bit more expensive. It's not too bad, but I just think that you get a better bang for your buck on there.
Kane giving us the segue for IST. You don't need to do the second plug just yet, but
We're good, man. We're good. I appreciate it.
big hello to Kenny tuning in. I know Kenny is super excited for Superman, less than a month away. I'm super excited too.
Something I wanted to share with you, because Jess and I usually do what we're reading on this show, and I'll be super quick about this too. Is I have started picking up 20th Century Boys.
Yeah, let's go.
The Ultimate Collections, or I forgot what they're called. The
Perfect editions.
Thank you. Perfect editions. I have started my reread of 20th Century Boys. I have 1, 2, and 3, and I have volume 4 coming in the mail. There's a specific reason why I have these physically. Urasawa stuff is not available legally, digitally, right?
Right.
For whatever reason, he is very stingy about the digital stuff. And it's a bitch to find the stuff online. Now you can, and it's usually scans and a lot of his fan translations and stuff like that, at least in the last few years from what I saw.
Yeah.
So you know what? I said, fuck it. I'm gonna bite the bullet. I want to have this because it's Urasawa. And not only that, it's my favorite manga of all time. And I think it's fucking brilliant. I started reading it again, and I started volume 1, and immediately from the first chapter, you start seeing the breadcrumbs of stuff that he is going to do towards the end of the series.
Mhm.
And it is wild on a reread, knowing everything that you know. It's so great. It is. I think it's even better a second time around than the first time for me.
I'm gonna need to revisit it at some point then, because
Yeah.
I've only read it the one time, and it was a little bit ago, so it's probably deserving of a reread. I just have so much that I'm reading at all times. But that's
Let me know,
series.
and I would love to do a show with you where we cover maybe a few volumes of these
Sure.
editions at once, and we could plan that ahead. I would love to do it with you because I'm revisiting this, and golly, I forgot just how great the manga is.
Yeah. Have you watched or read Pluto?
Loved it.
Dude, that one,
It's
that's
perfect.
my favorite personally of Urasawa's stuff.
It is perfect. It's perfect in length.
Yeah.
It is. It's only like 9 volumes. The anime adaptation that they did on Netflix, they dropped that, and I didn't even know it was out on Netflix. I was just scrolling one day and went, "Holy fuck, it's Pluto on Netflix!" Yeah, no,
Well,
I love it.
Watched the adaptation, but I freaking love that manga. Like, and I remember I put up a video a while ago on both on YouTube, and then I put up like a TikTok version of it where I talked about like my top 10 at that time, like concluded comics, or sorry, manga series. And I had both 20th Century and Pluto on there, and I had Pluto higher. And there was someone, I don't remember which platform, that like told me that I was just trying to like be different or like be cool by putting Pluto above 20th Century. And I was like, I cried reading this book. Like, how dare you, sir? I had a visceral emotional reaction to this book. And there's a character, like not even an important, like, semi-important character that shows up during one part of the series that was like
The piano.
looked like my grandfather.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
And he was like, I think, repairing some like little bots and stuff.
Yeah.
And my grandfather used to like fix my toys and stuff. Like he,
Oh,
put. I still have a Spawn action figure from like the '90s that
yeah.
the leg broke off, and he put a screw through the knee, and like to fix it. And I still have it. I have like
Yeah.
a non-broken version of it as well, but I have that one. And I read that and I was like, oh my god, it's my grandfather. I started crying. Like I was reading it on my lunch break at work
Aw.
too, and I was like, shit, I have to go back out into the office.
Yeah. Okay. So, real ballpark pitch, real quick. For those of you that have never read 20th Century Boys, it's my favorite manga of all time. I think between all of us that read manga in the group, we would agree it's up there.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably up there for all of us. It is basically, it tells the story of a group of friends through different points in their life, and they all meet together after one of their friends dies, and they have to figure out the reason of death is very weird and how that person dies. On top of that, there is this person who is called the friend who is starting to rise up in cult and political power eventually. And what these friends discover is that all this stuff that is happening were childhood games that they played when they were kids. And everything that they said that they would do as in these childhood games as kids ends up happening now as they're adults. This is very much Urasawa's basically his it, right? Because you're getting different periods of time and you keep flashing back, flashing forward. Sometimes it's in the future, sometimes it's back again. And you're seeing this group of people go through this as they try to stop this person called the friend who has this amazing ability to lure in crowds and be a political influence and very much on very, very scarily relevant to today in certain ways. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. Urasawa's art is it's not your stereotypical manga art, I think, for a lot of people. I would say, look, if you've never read a manga, this is one that this Berserk, obviously, the really popular ones, these are ones that you absolutely deserve to give it a shot and try.
Yeah. Yeah, Berserk, there's a reason why that has been like I don't think the numbers are public, but it's like significant amount of Dark Horse's money that they make is just from that.
Yeah.
But I love it. I'd say as well to pick it up.
How do you feel about the new chapters since he's been gone? I haven't talked to you about them.
I haven't read them. I have the first paperback that came out somewhat recently, but I haven't read them yet.
Okay.
So I will get to those, and I'll let you know what I think. But I just haven't done it yet. Sorry, I'm not trying to like skip everyone's comments and stuff, but real quick, branching out from superhero comics, I think one of the easiest things to say, because it will give you kind of the same vibe as like some superhero stuff, but at the same time, like it branches away from that. And it also is a big universe, so you have plenty to go into if you want to, would be basically Mike Mignola's stuff with Hellboy and BPRD.
Yep.
Those are, there's a lot to love there. A lot of great characters, a lot of great storylines. You don't have to read everything, but it's all there for you if you want to read it. And it might feel familiar to you. If you're already reading superhero comics, it'll feel familiar to that kind of stuff. And then there's a lot I was in my head, I was thinking about a lot of stuff from Vertigo. Because like Vertigo had just a generational run from like the 90s through the early 2000s of like so many great series. But I think that the easiest thing to say, instead of like pointing to a handful of different series, is like any, and this is, I always say this for everything to do with like comics and stuff, is like any creator that you like, look up their bibliography and see what they've done. And usually like a lot of them will have worked outside of superhero comics.
Yeah.
Some haven't, but a lot of them will have at least something. And so like one of my first and still my favorite to this day is Grant Morrison, but they were also one of my first favorites and one of the first people that I did this with. And I went in and I was like, oh, I really loved Batman, and I read Animal Man and stuff. And then I started expanding from there and finding things like the Invisibles and all that stuff. And I did the same thing with like every creator that I wind up enjoying, is just like looking into their bibliography and then finding like Garth Ennis with Preacher, or like Warren Ellis with Transmetropolitan, and other people with other things.
That is a great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That is a great touch. Yeah, I wholeheartely agree. What you need to do is find a writer that you really vibe with, and really go through the catalog and go, oh, well, I love Darwin Cook. He wrote this crime series called Parker based on a bunch of books. Let me go check that out. And if you like what the writer, you typically vibe with a writer, you're probably going to like the other stuff that they do too. Yeah. Not always, not every writer is going to bat 1,000 every single time.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hit a home run every time, but most of the time you might find some cool stuff that you didn't think about. Greg Rucka wrote a whole bunch of cool superhero comics, and then he goes on to do Lazarus, which I loved, and I think it's finally finishing up this year. Ed Brubaker, his Captain America run is legendary. It is, for a lot of people, the definitive run.
Yeah.
Brubaker is just doing independent work these days, and it's all friggin' fantastic work. It's great stuff. You can't go wrong with that.
And then there's East of West and Deadly Class are both great, and those are good examples of like really strong era of Image comics from like the 2000s, the 2010s. And they had, that's Hickman and Remender, so they had a lot of like Marvel creators who were at Marvel were also doing a lot of stuff at Image. And then like Remender left Marvel, and I think it might have been after he left that he did Deadly Class. But he's got all of the like I think I have every single one of those massive hardcovers of his material.
Yeah, he loves his collector editions. Remender, and he does them right. He likes to do them right.
And that's just a side note that might be worth mentioning is that like when it like Image Comics and like other independent publishers and stuff where like the creator owns the rights, it's up to them like what gets made and how it gets made and stuff. So like saying Remender loves his hardcovers and stuff, it's literally like he's the one that has made the decision, like these are all going to be massive and these are all going to be really nice, like whatever. And like Hickman puts a lot of design work, his own design work, and that's why if you read like even if it's whether it's Marvel or stuff from like Image or other places, he always has the same types of like graphs and graphic design and all that stuff. Like he very much pulls that through all of his stuff. But if East of West is going to be getting any sort of hardcover reprint, that would mostly be up to Hickman to decide.
Give me like 2 minutes. I got to go wake up my wife because I think she fell asleep trying to put the toddler to sleep. So give me 2 minutes, and then we'll. How about we jump back onto the main subject of tonight?
Okay, I'll segue into that by talking about this question here or this comment. So I guess it's not like a public thing, so I apologize if I'm like leaking, but they are getting. I think they are getting 4Ks, but they're at the very least both 28 days and 28 weeks are going to come back out on physical media. But if you can't wait in the meantime, I got a not so official version just to like have it from Sloppy Seconds sales, sloppysecondsales.com, and they have a set of like both movies for like $10, and it's passable. Like it looks, the movies are going to look good, but that's where I get like, I have a lot of like bootlegs of movies that are not necessarily available, or like TV shows, animated series that aren't necessarily available from either Sloppy Seconds or Monsterland Media. So they're both decently reputable. They are bootlegs, but they are okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Right. I hit you up with this idea, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. And I was like, hey, man, it's halfway through the year. Why don't we talk about some of the cool stuff that we have seen, slash read, slash played, or whatever? Doesn't necessarily have to be from this year. And, well, I'll let you go first. What you got?
well, what did we think of Sinners?
Wow. Okay.
Because that's definitely one of the most enjoyable. We've only had like a few, like a hand. I think that I can think of a handful of horror movies that we've gone out of the way to see this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that was definitely like up there on that list. I think it really like it hits a lot of really, really solid notes, no pun intended. Just strong in a lot of ways, really strong performances, really strong writing. It does have a little bit where you can see like where it's like derivative, like from existing media, but that's fine. Like I'm not really that bothered by it. Like things need to pay homage to things that came before. It's gonna happen. But it's just such a good time, and I'm glad that it did well, because it really deserved to do well. And I'm always glad to see, like, I know a lot of people talked about original movies don't really do really well. Like all we get is sequels and remakes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
at the box office. And it was really great to see something that was an original story, not part of a franchise. It's from a known director at the very least, but like something original coming out and just kicking ass.
Yeah.
Was really cool to see.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's my favorite film of the year. I have not rewatched it just simply because I already have the 4K pre-ordered, the disc.
Yeah.
Like, do I really? It's tempting because it's already on VOD. I can watch it. I think I'm gonna wait for the disc. I fucking love that movie, dude. I really did. Oh my gosh, yeah, it hit every single note for me perfectly. I love the fact that Michael B. Jordan plays dual roles, and it is very difficult to tell where the seams are with the dual roles. And he gives each one of the brothers just enough of a bit of a change in characteristic where it's like, oh, you really are two different people.
Yeah.
Um,
He did that really well.
Yes, it's just enough where you can go, okay, they're twins, they're twins, but you can tell that they're two different people. Stack is much more wilder a little bit. He's much more in your face, whereas Smoke is very much the more in control, the more level-headed, the more that is pulled back and more restrained. I love the movie, man. I love the whole vampire thing. And I love the pacing of it because it's very slow. It is a slow burn of the film. And in all honesty, I was happy with the first half of it where it's just them coming into town and setting up the juke joint and starting to get everything together and dealing with the racist landowners and stuff. I'm like, I'm good with just this. The fact that it's a vampire movie and I knew it was going to be a vampire movie later on was just the icing on the cake. It is not my favorite vampire movie of all time. That is still Near Dark for me. I fucking love Near Dark. But it is up there. It is easily in probably my top 3. God, I love that movie. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely. I love the ending. I love the post-credit scene. Honestly, the power of music, the influence of music and culture, and just the social commentary, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think it's Ryan Coogler's best film.
It's so funny. Like people pointed out, they're like, man, Ryan Coogler is doing a non-Marvel movie and he still puts a post-credit scene. I thought I had no problems with it, and I understood exactly why you would make that after the credits. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was a really funny thing to point out. And and the structure, I don't want to say the setup, the structure of the film really reminded me of From Dusk Till Dawn, because it's like it's one thing for like half the movie and then it just switches into the other thing. And it would have been really interesting if marketing didn't tell you that it was going to be a vampire movie, and people just went in thinking like, oh yeah, it's going to be like a period piece about musicians and jazz and what, and then all of a sudden they're just like,
I kind of wish they did it From Dusk Till Dawn, and you would just sit there and go, that is a really cool movie about people opening. What the fuck is going on here? Where the Irish vampire shows up and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
One of the things I really liked, I saw pointed out, was how like you could tell which groups, like which gang groups that each of the brothers had been part of for the past several years.
The season,
The way that they were dressed and the way that they were like carrying themselves. So one of them was with like the Italian mafia and stuff, and the other was with the Irish mob. And so that's why, you know, one of them kind of got along a little bit better with what's his name, Remick, was it?
Yeah.
So that was really fun as well. Like, and that was a good way for Michael B. Jordan to kind of differentiate the performance of the two characters. So that was really fun. But I also did come out of that, speaking of Skinner Sweet, I came out of that telling, like, immediately, I'm like, I'm a comics guy. Like, if you're into comics and you watch this and you like this, like, check out American Vampire, check out Harrow County. Like, there were definitely things that immediately I was like, people should read these things. Like, these are the types of things that you'll enjoy. And I don't want to.
Abigail was awesome. If you haven't seen that vampire movie, you need to watch it.
That one's a ton of fun. But I would not be surprised if Ryan Coogler had read either one of those at least a little bit and got a little bit like, oh, I want to do something like, and then just spun off into this huge idea. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that was great. There's a lot of like really emotional scenes to it as well. Like the scene like with the ancestors coming and like the music playing. It's like, oh, like that I just got chills like thinking about like that in the theater. I was like, ooh, man,
that was great.
I will admit though, we were definitely the whitest people. I was the least white person in my group, and that's saying something. Like, the group we went with was not, and like I didn't really think about it until afterwards, but I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, dude. I'm dying to see it again. I honestly am, like I said, by far my favorite film of the year, and I really don't see anything else topping it. Maybe James Gunn's Superman, but we still have to see how that plays out.
God, that looks so fun though, dude.
Oh my god, I can't wait for James Gunn's Superman. It looks like we finally get the character right in a movie.
Crossed. It looks like he's got it, but fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I really love all the side characters. Delroy Lindo fucking kills it in this. He gives this story when they're driving up to the juke joint. About what he's seen and what he that is just, oh my gosh, dude. If you have not seen Sinners, please go watch it. And I love the fact that you see certain people online going, yeah, I didn't get it. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. Yep. Yeah, I expect that from you. Yep. Did you take your profile picture really low and you're driving a car and you've got glasses on? You probably didn't get the movie. Okay, that's fine. And it's okay. It's not for you. Don't worry about it. Something else that I really enjoyed this year was Companion. Have you seen Companion?
I was going to bring up. I was going to say I know.
Fucking hell.
That was a fun. It's been months, so it's not fresh. I didn't even know it had come out yet, but that does make sense because it has been several months. But I remember loving everything, not everything about it, but I love that. That's such a fun time. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is a fun horror movie with like just there's
A
some
big reveal. There is a big reveal about a third of the way in.
and I know that when you saw it, you immediately were saying to us all like, don't, or was I saying that?
You were saying it because
I was
I went in blind. I didn't know anything about it other than you had said go in as blind as
Yeah.
possible. Don't watch the trailers because the trailer gives something away.
there was a like the second trailer gave, even because I came out of the theater after watching it having only seen the first trailer, and then I had seen people saying like, oh my gosh, that second trailer like gives away, and I don't remember what the twist was, but it definitely gives away a pretty massive twist.
Mhm.
And so like the more blind that you can go into Companion, the better. But
Mhm.
there's just a ton of great and fun performances in there. That might have been the first time that I had seen Sophie Thatcher, and she does fantastically. Um, God, what's his name that plays Huey?
Oh, I forgot the name. He's in a lot of stuff now. He's in Novocaine, which
Jack
was really good. Jack Quaid. Yeah.
So Jack Quaid was great in there, and has what's his name, Harvey Guillen from who comes out in What We Do in the Shadows, was really fun in that one.
He's fantastic. He's great in the show too.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed like everything that I've seen him in. There was even this one really shitty like teenage comedy that I had on Amazon.
Mhm.
Type of shit that I put on in the background while I'm working is just like teen comedies, and he was in that one like as a full grown adult acting like a teenager, and he was still great in that. I was like, this is such a bad movie, but you go, dude.
Yeah, so Companion is something going as blind as possible. My wife and I, we watched it and we kept picking up little things that the characters kept saying. We're like, well, what? That doesn't make sense. Why did the character refer to or say this in this context? And then the big reveal happened, and my wife and I went, wait, that's what's going on? And if that is ruined for you, that sucks, man. If that's really ruined for you in the marketing. It is a love story. It's a different kind of love story. How about that? How about that?
I have not seen Dangerous Animals, and until this comment, I don't think I've even heard about it.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it though.
But just the immediate like description on Google says shark obsessed serial killer sold. I don't need to know.
So Jaws 2. It's either Jaws 2 or Jaws 3. Right?
I'm in.
Because isn't the original plot of like Jaws 2 or Jaws 3, I forgot which one it is, was that this voodoo or witch doctor or something like that, he like possesses a shark. It's fucking nuts. Like possesses a shark or something like that, and the shark is hunting down the family from the original Jaws movie. Some crazy shit like that. I'll tell you what. Oh, dude, no, tell you what. Look up the original. There was an original. I think the original pitch for Gladiator 2 was Russell Crowe coming back from the dead and fighting off God, I don't remember too much of it. Fighting off like the rise of Christianity or something like that. And in the end of the movie, he would fight off Jesus Christ. It's crazy. It's something like that, if I remember correctly. This was years ago, though.
What the fuck? I don't.
I'm not lying. Hold on. I will look this up.
I'm trying to find which Jaws movie has like voodoo and stuff.
All right. Where is it?
Because now we're getting into like Jaws being a slasher film.
Okay. Gladiator 2's original script made Russell Crowe a time-traveling zombie warrior. Which I fucking want to see this, okay? A fat Russell Crowe, mind you, because he's not. Oh my god, fat Russell Crowe going back in time. Where was it? Yeah, sort of that. So his screenplay, subtitled "Christ Killer," has become the stuff of legends. The bizarre yet captivating script starts in the afterlife, sends Maximus back to Rome as an undead warrior, and ultimately ends with a century-spanning war montage in which Crow fights his way through the Crusades, World War II, and Vietnam.
Jesus.
Where is that movie? I want that.
They should make it called like Gladiator 2 TOO. And, and the like what is that called? The Asylum should produce it.
Oh, dude, you're speaking. Oh my god! And don't even have him get in shape. Just have him be just fat Russell Crowe.
They're like, you don't have to worry about it, dude. Like, we're just gonna put some cheesy like zombie makeup on you, and we can call it a day.
There were 2 Exorcist movies that came out around the same time. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It was the Pope's Exorcist, and I forgot about the other one. And I swear to God, I thought they were the same character in the same movie because it's literally Russell Crowe playing a priest in both of them, and it's 2 different movies. And the funniest thing about it is you have fat Russell Crowe riding a Vespa about to go and perform an exorcism, and he is massive on that thing. It looks like you remember those twins that were really huge riding those tiny little motorcycles back in
Yeah.
like the 90s. It kind of looks like that.
I'm looking at the Exorcism and the Pope's Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 different. I think the Exorcism was the one where he was like, where they were making a movie or something, and like,
I don't remember.
I think that's that one. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't. That was one of the only ones from last year that I didn't actually watch.
As far as and we're kind of all over the place, but we're just shooting from the hip. Have you seen The Monkey?
Yes, that was fun too, dude.
Fucking love The Monkey. Oh my god,
Fun.
I've seen it 3 times. I love The Monkey.
I've only seen it the one time, but that is definitely like, that is the feel good horror of the century, man. Like, bro,
I
like,
love that the brother is an incel, basically. And he's still wearing this part of the suit and the shirt from when he was a kid. Oh my god. And when the stepfather, no, the uncle comes down and tries to comfort him, and the uncle goes, I'm not going to lie, we're going to do a terrible job at this of trying to raise you boys. Oh, I fucking love The Monkey, dude.
one of my favorite things about it is just the fact that it was like Osgood Perkins did that right after doing Long Legs. Regardless of, I think you were a big fan of Long Legs. I thought it was okay, but like coming off of that type of movie and then doing this as his follow-up is wild. And then like did you see, like, if you stay after the credits, there's like a trailer for his next movie after?
I didn't see that. I don't think I saw that.
No. I don't know if it's on like the home video or like the on demand or whatever, but, like the streaming version. But in the theater, after the end credits, like we watched all the way through the end credits, there's just a random scene that starts playing, and it's just a trailer for his next project.
Huh.
And it completely like it goes back into like the serious swing of stuff.
Huh.
And we were just like, what? Keeper is the next one that he has coming, and it showed like it says that it's like Keeper coming 2025.
I love the opening with the harpoon, and then it retracts. Oh my god, no! The Monkey's hilarious. The Monkey is so good. It's in my top 5 for the year. I've seen it 3 times. I get the home video on Tuesday. Comes out Tuesday, so I've got that on the way. I can't wait.
Did you also watch the new Final Destination?
I loved it.
That's like the same like vein of just like feel good fun horror movie for me. And that's something that like I feel like we don't get as often as I'd like is a horror movie that I can go in and just like laugh my ass off.
Right.
Like also the like, not spoiling anything really for anyone who hasn't seen it, but like after the I guess, inciting incident that happened at the beginning. But like the ultimate fuck them kids moment. Vindication.
The piano.
I was so like I was dying laughing at that part in the theater. Like I was so happy.
To be fair, that kid was a little shit.
Dude, yeah. Absolutely. And it was like it was even better than I hoped it would be when it happens. But
Oh man.
that one was so much fun. And I loved like they were clever with like playing around with everything. So you had like you know, the way that people you know, the orders of the deaths and stuff, and like unexpected things happening, and like they're definitely like playing with you with this stuff. It was so great. And the final performance for God, I'm so bad with names today.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, Tony Todd.
Oh my god, dude.
So like, and apparently
Yeah.
he like
Ad-lib.
ad-libbed part of that
That's
speech.
true. Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
man, that was so perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect. Putting and like wrapping that into the actual like ongoing arc of the movies itself.
That was great.
Uh,
Yeah, that was great. You get kind of his origin and what, because he's been in every movie. Tony Todd is the focal point of every single Final Destination movie. And in this one, you understand what it was that happened to him when he was a kid. I shouldn't ruin that. You understand why he is the way he is.
and why he's always been there like throughout
Yes.
the entire series.
So in real life, Tony Todd was dying of stomach cancer at that point. He has since passed. And in the movie, they actually tie that into his character in the movie. And you see Tony Todd, and in the movie, he is rail thin.
Yeah.
He does not look well at all in the movie, the poor guy. And he's only in it for a short amount of time. And he's sitting down, and when he stands up and you see him and the clothes are just kind of drooping off of him and he just looks really worn and everything, and he gives this speech as basically his way of saying goodbye to everybody, to fans, to everybody. And the entire theater watching it, when I went to go see it, went, oh, like you just heard an audible, like, oh man, because he did improvise it. The director went, look, man, go ahead, whatever's on your heart, go ahead, speak it. It's okay. We'll film it and we'll put it into the movie. And that's what they did, because they knew he didn't have much time left.
Yeah, and it was I loved how they wrapped it all up with that and did that for him, and he's so good. I was just thinking about how much I love him in Candyman also.
Yeah.
But that was another. We've had some really good, like a solid handful, a handful of really solid horror movies come out this year.
Yeah, no, horror I think is the most dependable thing right now, apparently, because you just put out a horror movie and it usually does pretty well. And they're batting 1,000. There's been a lot of good horror in the last 2 years. I wanted to also bring up, let's see what we've got here. I've got my list here. Since this is on occasion a comic book show, I'm going to talk about Tom King's Wonder Woman, if you guys haven't read that. I talked about this about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I keep saying, if you've never read Tom King's Wonder Woman, I think there's 3 trades out. There might be 2.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of my favorite comics of the year. I think it's brilliant. I think it is a very politically charged comic, which even caught me off guard. And the art on it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Literally, the first arc of the book is basically Wonder Woman versus the U.S. government and how that plays out. It's so good.
I have not read it yet, but I generally have enjoyed everything that King has put out. And so I feel like I'm going to have to wait for the inevitable deluxe hardcover or something.
Mm-hmm.
and pick that up and go against my my typical, don't go in blind on stuff. But I feel like with King, it's usually fine. Like I don't think I've been overwhelmingly disappointed by anything he's put out except for Heroes in Crisis, and
Mhm.
that was largely like editorial stuff.
Correct.
So I'm pretty confident.
The whole Wonder Woman line is great right now. Absolute Wonder Woman is my favorite book. It's my favorite comic. I read it every
That
month.
who's doing that? Is that
Kelly Thompson.
okay? I was about to say KSD, and I was like, no, it's not KSD. She hasn't really done anything lately. But yeah, Kelly Thompson.
Fucking, it's my favorite book. I love reading it every month. It's so good, and it keeps getting better and better.
I've heard good about pretty much every absolute DC title, so I do plan on getting all of those eventually. And I also have heard really good about every one of the current Ultimate Marvel titles. But the streets are saying that everything's gonna wrap over there. Like,
Really?
yeah, like, and I'm assuming it's gonna go through the typical like relaunch type of thing, but because like Hickman is wrapping up on issue 24 of Spider-Man, and I
Wow.
guess, like Denny Camp is gonna wrap up with 24, and all of those are gonna wrap up with their issue 24s, and then Wolverine with 12 is what the streets are saying. And I guess it'll probably have a big event happen, and then if history dictates, then we'll probably see a new number ones across the board again.
Yeah, that Wolverine book's not that good.
No.
No, I read the first 4 or 5 issues, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Who is doing that one? Who's
You haven't done much with the character. Okay. I don't think it's that good.
I don't even remember Ultimate Wolverine.
It's a cool concept. It's Cantwell. I think that's Cantwell.
Oh, is it Chris Cantwell? Oh, Chris Condon. I've never read anything by Chris Condon before, so I don't have any preconceived notions.
It's not that good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's not
that
good.
one's only going to be 12 issues. And it's Bucky is Wolverine, is that right?
No, Logan is Winter Soldier in this.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's the other way around. And they don't do much with it, honestly. It's more about the world building, and it fleshes out some of the more X-Men stuff in the Ultimate Universe. But honestly, of the 4 or 5 issues that I've read, it's literally just Wolverine is programmed to go kill somebody. Wolverine goes out and kills somebody, or Wolverine attempts to go out and kill somebody. Then he comes back and oh darn, he failed, or oh darn, wow, he actually pulled it off. It's not that good, to be honest.
I am really curious to read Momoko's Ultimate X-Men.
I have heard so many mixed things about that damn book.
I think a lot of people really like the problems of the people that don't like her versions of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the type of thing like it could be the most well-written book ever, but they're going to be like, I hate the fact that Cyclops is a schoolgirl.
Cyclops is a schoolgirl?
I believe.
Oh, well.
That's correct. No Concept can vouch for that claim. Because I haven't read it, but I have enjoyed like everything Momoko has done that I've read and that I've seen, and I adore her artwork, and so yeah, it is something that I'm curious to read. There's a lot of like, I say a lot. There are several things that are coming out right now that I do want to pick up once they're like collected and read through those things.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't been keeping up with the single issues and stuff, and it's so hard. Like I haven't even counted how many different manga series that I read regularly, but I know it's like at least 200.
Jesus.
And yeah, it's a lot, man. Like it. So I'm like, I'm trying to keep up with those, and I don't necessarily have the bandwidth and the time and the money to keep up with the others.
I can barely keep up with my kid's schedule, and you're reading like 200. Oh, wow.
I fell ass backwards into it because it's like I just kept seeing things that looked cool, and I was like, oh, I'll try that one out, and I'm like, oh, I really like this, and so it just keeps just getting more and more and more, and it's it's not like it's different than comics because it's not like a connected universe where I can just be like, I'll just skip whatever Iron Man's doing right now and catch up with him at this event.
Yeah.
If I want to know what's going on, then I have to read the book.
Something to share with y'all, because I'm a pretty big prose reader. I've been reading the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. I've finished book 1, halfway through book 2. So yeah, I'm way past halfway of book 2, and I've already got book 3 waiting for me. So this is the best way I could describe it is Rocchio pitches this as, what if becoming Darth Vader was the right thing to do? And literally the first 2 pages of the book, he starts out the book with saying, I stopped this war of this alien invasion, but I had to blow up a sun in order to do it. And I killed millions and billions of people along the way to do it. This is how I got to this point in my life. So you know the ending of the story literally within the first 2 pages of the first book. And it flashes back, and it takes place. This is hardcore science fiction. This is something like along the lines of Arrival, or the best way that I can honestly describe this is that this is probably a Hickman book, but prose. And I really enjoyed the first book. I'm loving the second book. It is so much better than book 1. And it is set in the far future where mankind is off in space. We are out there. And it's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. It is not for everybody. It's very slow paced. But man, does it hit really hard with some philosophical questions, and good Lord, the whole concept of you're going out in space, and we haven't really nailed down this whole warp travel thing. So we're going to put you on ice for about 100 years while you travel to the next planet, and everybody else just goes on and lives their life, and then you wake up, it's 100 years later. And this happens multiple times throughout the story. And it freaks me out, that whole concept. But it's brilliant. It's so brilliant, dude. I love it so far.
I'm such a bad reader of non-picture books.
It takes practice. It takes a while to kind of wrap your head back into that space if you haven't done it in a while.
It's like when people talk about I read so much manga that now it's like people say that it's hard to read comics because they can't have to adjust. That's what I it's I don't know, my brain hurts or something. I don't know. I feel like a child. So and I'm a child, and it's fine, but I feel like maybe one day when I have the time, I'll start looking into audiobooks, and then from audiobooks go into prose novels and stuff.
I wish I could do the audiobooks. I can't. I have to have a physical thing in front of me, or else I'm just going to tune it out, because I at work, I have something playing on in the background all the time where I'm listening to a podcast or something like that. Audiobooks just do not work for me. And not only that, I love the fact that I just need to focus on this, because I'm a multitasker by heart, where I'll have a podcast on and I'm doing dishes or I'm cooking or I'm always doing two or three things at once. And with this, it's okay, I just need to focus on this. I loved Sun Eater. The other one that I'm recommending tonight is Red Rising. I have started Red Rising. I read the first 3 books. Fucking brilliant. Red Rising is awesome. You're probably going to go through and read the first book and go, oh, this is kind of just Hunger Games in space. Get through the second book, because it's awesome. It's so good, man. Where this is kind of like a Hickman story, the Sun Eater series, Red Rising is basically just flat out balls to the wall action for the 3 books that I've read. And it basically takes place, it's thousands of years in the future. It's another space story. And it centers around this young dude named Darrow, who Darrow is a miner on Mars. And his whole life he's been told, hey, you guys are reds. It's a class system based on color. At the very top, it's the gold, there's blue, there's red, there's pink, and each one has a specific job that they have to do. The golds are the very top, and they're usually the elite. He's told his whole life, hey, you have to mine Mars because in the future people are going to come here. You're terraforming Mars and everything like that. He comes to find out that it's all bullshit. That literally Mars has already been terraformed and millions of people are already living on it, and he gets pissed the fuck off. And basically the whole series is him starting a revolution, making his way into the golds, and how that plays out, and overthrowing the government and the establishment. My God, Red Rising is fucking incredible, and I cannot wait for this to get established. Book 2 has one of my favorite moments that I've ever read, and it's called The Iron Rain. And what that is amazing. Oh, I love this series so much. It's so good. It's fantastic.
I can't off the top of my head think of any like books from this year that were like debuts that have blown me away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's partially not that like nothing good's getting published, but it's the fault of me for reading so many things that like it starts to blend in together, where not so much like the narratives, but I'm like, what did I read this year and what did I read last year? But there's always a lot of good stuff out there. But what I can comment on is I don't know if I've mentioned this on any show that I've been with you, but like we did a whole watch of every DreamWorks animation movie.
Cool.
Most of them are terrible. I take that back. I that was for comedic effect. Like a lot of them are bad. A lot of them are like passable. And then there's a good amount that are like, because there's like 50 movies or something now. And there's a good amount that are really great. But the one that surprised me the most, and some people who've watched the show a few times, I've mentioned this, is freaking Trolls 3.
What? Really?
Yes.
Stop.
I love the movie so much. We reference it. There like a few weeks ago, there were people like listening to music outside, and I like stopped what I was doing because I was like, wait, is that a Trolls 3 soundtrack? And it was. I was like, that's great. But the other Troll movies are fine, but Trolls 3, I don't know, it has something about it. And I think like there's a lot of great actors in there, like a lot of great voice actors and stuff. A lot of funny actors are in there. And there's just a lot of really great jokes that I think it's a really good kids movie that has plenty of material for adults to also enjoy. Like there's a lot of jokes for us. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot of little like I loved the world that because they're going outside of just like where the trolls live, and now they're going to like other anthropomorphized children's toys.
Yeah.
And so there's like one of the trolls that's in like a troll boy band went off to live on an island, and it's like an island with like puppet people, and the water is made out of those little like Zorbies or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the bad guys look basically they're just like Betty Spaghetti dolls. It's so fun, it's so clever, and I didn't expect to enjoy it, but it was so funny because like we made a tier list for all the movies, and we kept like every time we watch another one, we'd reassess everything else. And I always be like, all right, did we like this one better than whatever? Did we like it better than whatever? And every time we'd reassess, and I'd be like, I think Trolls 3 has to go higher up, man. Wow. And I kept moving it up. I don't remember exactly where we ended, but it was like, I think high A tier.
I have to ask, where did you put Puss in Boots Last Wish?
That I think was in S, but I don't remember if it was high or mid. Hold on, let me find it. But
Because after I finished watching that, I went, "Holy shit, that was DreamWorks!" That movie was awesome. Puss in Boots was just fantastic. That's where Ryan Coogler got the inspiration for the eyes for Sinners for the vampire.
oh, for real?
Yeah, he said it on an interview. Yeah, he loved Puss in Boots' Last Wish, and he took the eyes from Death, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that'll work on the vampire."
Okay, I don't know where I dropped the final one. I don't think I actually saved it anywhere. um Shit, where did I put it? But it was I like saved that one for last because I already seen it and I knew that I liked it. And
Mhm.
then I was like, okay, um let's save this to watch after some of the crappy ones. And there was definitely some crappy ones. But I know it was at the very least it was in S tier. But I don't remember if it was at the top or bottom of S tier. I'm just going through like a bunch of stuff on Discord, just me yapping. I know it was before this. God dang it, I don't know, but it was up there. But yeah, Trolls 3 worth it.
Worth it. All right, I'll check it out.
The whole, especially because you have you have a little one, like, and if y'all need it's, you could do worse, like of a kids movie to sit there and watch with her.
Yeah, she's not quite there yet as far as watching movies and stuff. She sat through Mario once, and she really liked it. So she really likes Super Mario movie. I'll give Trolls 3 a try. Did you see Thunderbolts?
Yes.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, way more than I expected.
Yeah, I am also gonna say, okay, I found it. Last Wish, we put it was the last S tier. So S tier in order is How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon 2,
Good.
Shrek, Chicken Run, and Puss in Boots: Last Wish.
All great choices.
But Thunderbolts, I'm gonna say I'm really glad that you were not right about Strike Force.
Because I was kind of mad that I wasn't
that
right.
lived with me for so long, dude. I was like, I swear to God, right, I'm going to like run into the streets like a madman, like this stupidest shit. And it wasn't that, and I was down with what they did instead, but I hated that they immediately spoiled it online. Like officially, they spoiled it like the day after. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like so glad that I saw it quickly, or not immediately. I think it was on Monday. Like that.
It was 2 or 3 days later. They ruined the big reveal, and I was really glad I watched it during the weekend because I was like, oh man, that was actually really cool. That was a good way to tie that in.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you ruin that online so quick?
Like changing the name everywhere, like putting the sticker on the posters, like to show people like it's actually this. Like, no, dude, that's dumb. And I'm like,
yeah,
the movie was great. I really had a great time. However, as a also fan of the comics for the Thunderbolts, I do wish that we could have like comics Thunderbolts at some point. I know not like 100% with every character, but some sort of team that actually reflected more like what the Thunderbolts are. One of the iterations, because there's multiple types of Thunderbolts in the comics, but like I would love to see it happen. And I don't know if the door is closed on that or not, but whatever the case is, I think that it was a really great like kind of return to form, but like going in a more emotional direction than a lot of the Marvel movies kind of allow themselves to go. And after a bunch of movies that were like just big bombastic cameo fests and like things that were maybe underwhelming, this like kind of reminded me of why I enjoyed these things in the first place.
Yeah, it's it almost felt like a very back to basics movie. It's I think it was a little bit smaller in scale and stuff like that, and I really appreciated it. goddamn, they actually made me like the Sentry. Like, I
Right?
did not expect that. Holy shit.
They
I
made
actually
a
like
lot of people like the Sentry, dude. Like the internet after that movie came out, there was so many stupid like little fan art drawings of the Sentry. I
I
was
did
like,
not expect that, man.
people were
Uh,
like, "How do I read Sentry comics?" And I was like, "You
you
probably
don't.
honestly."
You don't read Century comics because there really isn't any that are good. um, yeah, the Century is not a great character. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, that in and of itself, I was really impressed by. Really impressed by. I went into it honestly thinking, this doesn't look that whatever. I'll give this a shot. I really liked it. I was surprised. Color me surprised. I want to own it when it comes out. I
Yeah.
love the fact that Wyatt Russell's character, John Walker, is just a piece of shit person, and everybody in the group calls him out. And they're like, "No, you're great value, Captain America. Like you're not that great, dude."
He keeps the taco shield at the end of the movie.
That's right. That's right. He does.
They walk in like at the end credit scene, and he's got this folded ass,
Folded in shit.
looks like white people crunchy taco night.
Oh man, yeah. Florence Pugh's great in it. What's his face? David Harbour is fantastic in it as well. I dug the hell out of it. Yeah, I can't wait. I like this group, and it's a shame that the movie didn't do that well in the box office from what I was reading, because it's genuinely a fun movie, and I think a lot of more people need to give it a shot. I've got just a few more things because we're going a little bit long, so I'll be super quick.
Okay.
The Pit on HBO Max
Yes, that was great.
is incredible. It's so good.
Addictive television.
Oh my god, The Pit is fantastic.
The pacing on that, like it's hard to get away from it because of just how well you're like, I gotta see what happens in the next hour.
Dude, yeah, no, The Pit was must-see TV for me this year, where every Thursday night I was looking forward at HBO Max at 9:00. I was like, when does it come on? When does it come on? I need to watch the new episode of The Pit. It's so good. It's a medical drama, and the whole thing about it is, real quick, it follows a whole bunch of doctors around, but it all takes place in the course of one day, and each episode is 1 hour in that shift in one of the busiest hospitals is it Pittsburgh? I think is what it is. That's why it's called The Pit, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the drama, you see all these people coming in and out. It's so great. Dude. I love The Pit. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. I watched it after all had already come out, so I got to sit there and just binge it across a couple days. I think it was, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but I really like it. Felt so much more like grounded than a lot of other like there were some ridiculous types of things that happened, but it never felt like out of this world, like the things that people were coming in because of. I don't know, it was just really expertly crafted, and I'm excited to see what they do with this show, and hopefully can continue that level of quality going forward.
The next thing, real quick, I have Paradise. I don't know if anybody here has seen Paradise. Loved it. You're probably going to watch the advertisements of this and go, oh, okay. So here's the thing with Paradise. You're going to watch the first episode and you're going to get through literally till the last 5 minutes of the episode and go, oh, okay, this is kind of your standard. Somebody killed the president of the United States. Who was it? This guy comes in and he has to try to figure out why the president of the United States is dead. And then something happens at the very end of the first episode that blew my monkey mind out of the back of my head and made me stand up and go, huh? What is going on here? Episode 8 of The Pit of Paradise, I think it's episode 8, where everything is revealed of what happened. And I cannot speak anything of the actual plot of this show because I will ruin the big revelation of this. Is one of the most gripping hours of television I have seen in years. It is. I was on the edge of my seat watching that episode, dude, the entire time. Just, oh my God. yeah, Paradise is fantastic. Look, you're gonna watch all these trailers, you're gonna watch a whole bunch of stuff, and you're gonna think this is the most generic fucking ABC, NBC, like, oh, somebody killed the president, who killed him. There's so much more going on to it, and it's so good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yes.
That's definitely intriguing. Is it 8 episodes?
Paradise, the
I'm
first,
thinking right.
let me see, it might be episode 8 or
Yeah, 8 episodes is what it says online.
okay, so it's episode 7 that was the one that I went, holy shit, dude.
I'll have to check that one out because I need stuff to watch during the day when I'm here working.
I am telling you, it is not that kind of show. You really need to lock in and focus on it. It's a mystery. It's a puzzle box show.
I have a decent amount of like
okay.
time while I'm working. So like there's actually a decent amount of time where I can lock in. Like I'll finish whatever my tasks are, and then I'm just waiting for people to email me.
Okay.
And so I can definitely like knock out at least a couple episodes a day over the course of the next week.
Okay.
So that's probably what I'm gonna try to do.
Yeah, it's a puzzle box show, and it's a very good puzzle box show. And everything makes sense at the end when you get to the end of the season. They've already got a season 2 planned out. I think they said they have a roadmap for about 4 seasons, and then they're done. 4 or 5 seasons. So, but it's good. It's very good.
I like when I hear that at the beginning of a series. They're like, we know what we want to do.
Yeah, they've got a roadmap of about 4 or 5 seasons. It's very good.
Just to give you the idea real quick of how much we like Trolls 3, our A tier, it's Shrek 2, and these are all in order of our favorites. Shrek 2, The Wild Robot, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Prince of Egypt, Megamind, Trolls 3.
I feel like there's been a bit of a revisionist history with Megamind lately. I think a lot of people go back and go, you know what, I really liked Megamind, because I don't remember it being too well liked when it first came out.
I don't remember how it was when it first came out, and if it was because we're mixing our ratings, like we're agreeing together, like where we want this. I would put Trolls 3 above Megamind personally, but I would also put Kung Fu Panda above, and Kung Fu Panda is right after Trolls 3. So
I like Kung Fu Panda a lot. I like those movies. I think they're fun.
Those are a lot of fun.
That's kind of what I got for you tonight.
I have one more kind of disappointment.
Go for it.
Here, real quick, was that we caught up on Yellow Jackets, and that 3rd season was ass and a half, man.
It's not worth keep going. My wife and I we're halfway through season 2.
Okay, you're still in the good spot.
Okay.
Y'all, hey Javi.
Could I just
We're about to wrap up, but good to see that you made
it. Should I
season and the 2nd season are both like, I think they're great.
Yeah.
The 3rd season just shits the bed so hard, like at the beginning. And it's really because I think season 2 wraps up a lot of what they're doing.
It felt like it.
It wraps it up in a way that like you could be satisfied with the current stuff, like the stuff happening in 2021 or whenever it's supposed to take place. You can be satisfied where that leaves off, but the stuff in 1996, they haven't gotten off of the. I always want to say the island because it feels like Lost.
Yeah, it does.
They haven't gotten out of the wilderness yet as teenagers, and season 3 like introduces just entirely new directions for the 2021 plotline. While that like don't need to, like it's very ham-fisted in, while like inserting things into the 1996 plotline that has to be shoved in there to make 2021 work.
Yeah.
So it really feels like they've said that they knew that it was going to be. They're like, I think from towards the beginning they were like, it's going to be a 5-season series. We have it planned out, but it doesn't feel like they planned it out. Like it feels like they had a plan, and then they get to a point and they're like, we don't know what to do. And it's slow and boring. And we had to push through, like really push through. And it was the type of thing where we're like, we finally get to episode 10. It was just like, let's just do it. We'll And we don't have to look back. And I was like, if we want to watch season 4 when it comes out, at least we won't be binging it. Like we can watch it one episode at a time. It's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
God, bro, it was boring. Just ugh.
My wife and I love the first season. We're halfway through season 2,
It's
and
so
we're really liking it. I like Elijah Wood's character in it. I think it's really fun.
fun.
Yeah.
And he is there in season 3 too, and he's still fun, but like he's not enough to save the series.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
That's my one additional disappointment for the year, but yeah, it is what it is. We're going back to One Piece because I have never watched the anime, so we're watching the anime, and I'm getting the opportunity to revisit story arcs that I haven't read since they originally were published. So this is really fun, and we are in Zou right now, which is like around volume 80 of the manga.
Yeah.
And there's like 110 volumes of the manga right now. So we're getting pretty far along. We took several months of a break, and now we're getting back into it. And it's really fun to revisit this stuff. So
How do you feel about the live action Chopper? I actually don't mind it. I think it looks okay.
I have issues with him, but
Okay. Gio felt the same way.
yeah, I think Gio like legitimately hates Chopper, like the live action one.
I like it. I don't think it's that bad.
I don't hate him, but there's something uncanny where I'm like, there's several things wrong about him, but I can't pinpoint exactly what needs to be fixed. And I think the main thing is the eyes are not big enough.
Yeah.
And I understand design wise why they went with that direction, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yes, it could have been a lot worse.
Terrible, man.
But so here's Chopper, by his very nature, is a very cartoony character. So I was really curious how they were going to adapt him.
Yeah,
and I'm still very curious how they're going to adapt him, because Chopper takes on many different forms.
Yeah. That was my first thought, or not my first, but like a couple days after the reveal, I was like, I just realized that we're gonna have to see like all of his other forms too. Like, how's that gonna work out?
That's kind of where I'm like, I don't know, because the thing with One Piece is it starts out fairly, and I'm using that word very loosely, fairly grounded for somebody that could stretch really far, right? And then it gets more, would cartoony be the right word? More
It's like an airplane taking off, like away from the ground very quickly from that point.
Yeah. I was still in Baroque works. I need to go back to it and just keep going. I really do. But even from where I was reading it, I was like, I don't see how they could adapt a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it's gonna get really tough really quickly. Especially like once you get post, like there's a time skip, and once they get past that, like it gets even crazier with like character designs. And one of the things that's like I think really curious to me is how they're gonna cover scale of like characters, because I don't remember if you really see much of it as early as Baroque works, but like there are characters who Luffy is 5'7" or something. Like he's 5 foot something. He's a normal kid. And then there are characters who are like 9 feet tall, and they're not giants. They're just people that happen to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, are they going to attempt to do something with like the scaling like they do with the like in Lord of the Rings, or maybe like I don't know what they're gonna do. Like Brook is like 9 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet tall. We were just watching a couple of the movies, and there's a scene where they just have like people lined up, like you can see them lined up, and Brook is just like 4 feet above everyone else.
Yeah, they'll probably get the Rock.
A bunch of children.
Hey, you know what? It could have been worse. There is a universe where Chopper is voiced by Kevin Hart. I'm not wrong. You know I'm not fucking wrong, because it's true.
There's a chance, there's a non-zero chance that Chopper's human form is going to be The Rock but with the female voice actress, the voice actress's voice
Yeah.
attached to him.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh Jesus. No.
Just he just keeps all of his tattoos and everything visible. He doesn't even try.
Oh.
He's just wearing like a mask and a little bit of paint on his nose.
And Buggy is voiced by Jack Black.
Thankfully, that's not the case, but which is really nice because Buggy is like one of my absolute favorite characters in that series.
Yeah.
Giving Javi nightmares. Well, I think we can call it. We talk about some good stuff and
Yes,
some
we
bad
did.
stuff and Trolls 3, so it's always a good time.
Yes, we do.
So thank you everyone for watching, but especially thank you to the sponsor of our show, as always, InStockTrades.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your omnibus trades, paperbacks, hardcovers, manga, and more, 42 to 50% off. Free shipping, $50. Loyalty discount adds extra 2% off when you order weekly. Great packaging, wonderful customer service, only at InStockTrades.com. I have a couple packages actually that I'm waiting on right now. One of them is comics, and the other one is also comics. Actually, I didn't get any manga from them this week. So big thanks to InStock Trades. Big thanks to everyone for watching, tuning in. Thank you for commenting and keeping the conversation going. Lou, is there? I don't think you want people to find you anywhere on the internet right now, do you?
I'm not on the internet really that much these days, man. Only thing I've got is my personal Instagram, and I just keep that for family, really.
And for me, Omnibus Collector on most platforms. I have a couple videos that are literally filmed. I just need to edit them, but I've been lazy after the last weekend. Was so busy with that convention. So I'll get them out soon. One of them is actually I got a surprise. You can't barely see it, but up there's like the little thing next to Akira. You can't really see it, but Kodansha sent me the big new. There's a Attack on Titan like art book that came out. And it's this whole thing with a book and reproduction of the original artwork. And those reproduced pages are super cool. So they sent me that. I made a video going through everything to let people know, like, is it worth it? Because it's got a $250 cover price, but you can get it for less than $200 on InStockTrades.com. So yeah, I'll have those up soon. You can catch me on my channel and catch us back on this channel. There'll be another show on Monday.
Yes.
So thank you again, everyone, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Good night. Good night.